So good evening, everybody. This is Craig Blanchette, and this is our weekly health coach huddle up. And tonight we have some good things we're going to be talking about. But we do this once a week. Usually we have a smaller team training after the Optavia leadership training that's at 5 Pacific every Monday, and that's 7 Central and 8 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that is right. And so as soon as that call's over, we hop over here and we either meet with Terry's group, or we meet with our group. And so we've got a lot of fun things going on. So we're just meeting here as a smaller group, and I love seeing the familiar faces and having a lot more interactive training here where you guys get to share. I'm actually really excited to for today to talk and kind of open this up to you guys. There's a new coaches training system. I shouldn't say new because we've had coach training systems. It's an upgraded and evolved training system. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're learning from the Accelerate Bootcamp. And I'm also looking for wins, like here breakthroughs. So think about this through our call of things that you're doing in your life from these trainings, from the boot camp, but specific things that where you have a shift and you do something different, and then all of a sudden, it's like you look a different direction and you see a bunch of new things that you never saw before. And they were always there. You just didn't look in that direction. So tonight we're going to just start off with the training system. Who has logged in or checked it out? Maybe you might have just heard about it for the first time, but a few of you guys, so say Bernadette, you have. Has anybody started going through some of the training? And if you have, go ahead and come off mute and just give us a little bit of personal experience with it. So you've played around. I watched like the first video myself, but I haven't gone in and done any of the actual training yet, but I plan to. So one of the things that I'm thrilled about is the reality that if it's not in this system, it's not necessary. How you like them apples? Right? So things that we've used that were stopgaps in the past, and some of the customized things that we've done to fill in the gaps, those go away. And Dan said, I'm not going to use my previous training system. I'm going to use this. And the beauty of that is that it's one system and everybody gets trained on the same thing. So if you've been around for a while, and by the way, I've been around coaching longer than all of you, right? That's just because you're all part of my team. And so I'm going to be utilizing this system because it's just going to make my world that much easier. Think about this. If a coach is moving along faster in the current system, somebody's moving along maybe slower and you misinterpret their pace. Any ideas of how there can be a disconnect or why that would be a problem? Cassina, do you understand the question? Can you answer that maybe? So if I'm working with a coach now and maybe they're going slower than I think we're going with the current system, why would that be a problem? It's a terrible question. I'm trying to involve you guys. Maybe I'll just get to what I'm trying to say. So let's say I think you're going to go at 50 miles an hour, but you're actually traveling at 10. So I keep checking back in with you because I expect you to be at a destination a lot sooner and you're not there yet. Or what if I think you're going to go 50 miles an hour and you're decided to go 200? Well, you'll be like waiting around for me. Like, what's next, coach? What's next? And so with this particular training system, hopefully it trains people on how to ask relevant, decent questions. But with this new training system, if you go 50 miles an hour or 200 miles an hour, you just go through the training quicker. hopefully that's a big epiphany in my mind, because you set the pace. The training system sets the course, not me. Did that sink in? Did that hopefully that's like a, I don't have to know it all. I don't have to know exactly what's next because the system's going to show them.
And it's really like there's probably a lot of pardon me,
Hi, Lynn
lineage.
Ann.
um, as you guys know, I'm a teacher, but I did not homeschool my kids. I was teaching in my kids' school, but I know there's homeschooling moms out there, so it really is like a homeschooling self-paced kind of thing. So you can move at your own pace and go quicker if you need to, and if your brain's moving quick enough, and you are grasping those concepts, you can move faster. And then if you need more time, or you have a different job or family things going on or whatever, you can slow it down, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Anybody else have any experiences or have a comment? All right. So I guess the big thing is the system won't jump out in front of your car and make you look at it. You will have to block time in your calendar. And that is actually the next topic I wanted to talk about. And some of you may get it, but until you guys are as successful as you want to be, keep listening, right? One of the biggest challenges between everything you've probably done in your life up to this point. I mean, Diane, maybe she's been a little much more entrepreneurial. I don't know all of your backgrounds, but there's a few of us that have been entrepreneurial, and we haven't worked a lot for somebody else. We've kind of done our own thing. But most people work for somebody else, and they set your schedule, right? At least they set the start and end time. But during the day, you have some autonomy as to what projects you're going to work on sometimes, right? Well, Optavia is not that way. And like I said, Optavia won't jump out in front of your car and force you to stop and look at it. It'll sit in the back seat forever, right? And so, Lynn Ann, we've been doing some one-on-one work with Martin and I and you, and there was a comment I just read that was pretty profound. Would you share that kind of, maybe in just 1 minute, a brief what we're doing and then what you did and the outcome that you had?
Very brief. That's a tall order. Uh, well, I come out of that background of being a teacher. You show up at school, they tell you when your grades are due, like you do stuff, and I'm sure everybody has experience in that. And so I've really struggled with actually doing the work, because I'm in my house, I'm not going to do it. Well, maybe I'll get a snack. Maybe I'll finish watching this show on Netflix, or, I'm here with my mom, and maybe I need to go do something. Oh, I got to go do that thing for her. And you guys are so great, really challenging me to grow up, learn how to do things that I've never had to do in my life. And I'm not going to get into those details. So I actually left the house and went to work at a Starbucks, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm so distracted. So there's music playing, people walking in and out. I know some people behind the counter, a different one. But I was like, hey, if you actually do the work, stuff starts to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted a bunch of things, and actually this girl, I think I sent a photograph. I don't even know how to do a screenshot. I took a photo and sent it to you and Martin. And it was this gal from high school. Like, I barely even knew her. Like, I knew her name, and she was in my class. And she's like, what is all this stuff about these transformations that people are going through? I need to hear more about that. Can we talk? I was like, what? That just happened.
Mm-hmm. Thank
and
you.
then another gal in Starbucks that,
Yep.
and I had a long conversation with her. So one is looking at the business and the other one is looking at it as a client. I'm like, okay, blow my mind. If I do the
Yep.
work, stuff happens.
Well, and so thank you, Lynn Ann. So ultimately, with Lynn Ann and with many of us, it's a new skill set, and you have to learn how to manage yourself. You have to show up to meetings you make with yourself, right? You have to, there's all these little things. And I think a lot of us don't, I don't know what it is, but I'm just thinking, uh, if we don't block the time, it doesn't just happen. And some of us are busy. Some of us have full-time jobs and we fit Optavia into the cracks. Or do we? Because if you fit it into the cracks, I'm telling you, the return is amazing. People's lives start to change before your eyes. And so Lynn Ann decided her goal was to get out of the house and have work hours. And during those work hours, she's the first thing that's the most important is she's not at home. I didn't care where she worked. It was just as long as she wasn't at home. And so then she picked a spot, and then she took some deliberate actions, and people's lives are going to be affected. Do you real? I don't know. I know you realize this, but that little thing you fought through, somebody's life is going to look different because of it. And I don't, it seems so simple, but it's so powerful. And that's what I was saying. I did a video on, and I posted it to the Optimal Health Coach page of who's fighting. Who are you fighting for? If you think about it, is protecting somebody or going to battle for somebody when they're unable to fight for themselves? And that's what we do as coaches. We have this amazing armor that when you get Optavia in you, the skill sets, the world comes along and throws mud on you and it just slides off. It doesn't stick. It's different. So we get to fight for people. So Debbie, you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to share that I I logged in onto the program and I did the first couple of questions. And the second question asked about how much time you might want to put on. It's really interesting because you know what you choose is what Dr. Anderson's answer is. So it's kind of funny. But I picked like I think I picked 8 to 10 hours, and then I think it jumps up to 20. But after he goes, oh, that's good. You can start small. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, how much is really 10 hours? That really doesn't sound like that much in a week. So I actually wrote down my schedule for a week to see where my spots are that I can fit more activity into because I'm structured a little, like I have these times blocked and the habits of health and huddles and the trainings blocked. But when I actually do my work, I just think that's interesting that you're talking about how you might be able to find a space. And I actually, that question sparked something in me to make me go, well, maybe I can put more hours into it. Then that just doesn't sound like much. If this is really what I want,
That's
then
the that's the important piece. If this is really what you want to be part of your whole life, so that you can have the freedom to do a lot of other things with the 10 hours, you got an extra 30 to do lots of wonderful things with if you were a full-time coach. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Then
just
what would you?
finding that. It's saying, looking at my schedule and saying, oh, look, I actually have, if I don't have anything planned with my son, I've got like a chunk on 4 hours on a Saturday.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Well,
I just wanted to share it.
thank you, Debbie. I think it's also smart that you're riding the bus because you are able to be present and talk to us and take notes, and somebody else is driving. That makes complete sense to me. Like she has a chauffeur, guys. She's that successful, right?
It's just,
Um,
it's really expensive to park in Portland.
yeah. Well, I think it's wisdom. It's good, but
There you go. Thank you.
you hear a lot of coaches saying we turned off our TV for a year and we went global, right? We turned off our TV and we used that energy to make a difference in the world, to make an impact. And they did. And then if they chose to turn it back on, they had space in their life because they built something significant. So I hear a lot of people saying that get lean and run unencumbered, and you'll run faster and quicker, and more lives will be changed sooner. Eileen, you had your hand up. Oh, we can't hear you. I'm not sure why.
Me now?
Oh, yeah, now again. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that was really a good meeting. Couple things. So I just flashed on when Debbie was just saying about, you know, putting aside time and everything. I just thought about somebody who I know through my church I used to attend, and she's into Optavia. She's not in our group at all, but I think she's a dental hygienist, but she loves this program so much, the business, that she posts pictures of, you know, her daughter does water skiing, and then she goes with her, and she says, this is my office, you know, showing the lake that they're on. She said, this is my office. If you're interested in having an office like this and growing your business, contact me. And then the other thing is, I liked what I'm trying to remember who said that tonight, about how this is wonderful, this new training program, but if what don't freak out, because of what you're doing now is working really well for you, continue doing it. And I thought, oh, I don't have to watch those you know, the new training. But then I thought, well, no, it's probably good to go through it, because maybe you can incorporate something that you've never done before, or they'll give you a different twist. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to going through it real soon.
Yeah, good.
I signed up today.
Oh, good, good. That's good. And I would love for you guys if you would just block an hour and do it like it's your personal improvement. It's your future self coaching your current self to become it, right? And the just a clarification: if the coach, if you're what you're doing currently with training, some of the systems and some of the things you're doing are working, then that was the point of don't necessarily change those things. But for all coaches and all new coaches, this is the training system, right? So it's obviously not completely developed. It's for the most important piece of everything we do, which is establishing yourself and launching well. If you launch with lots of anchors, your business will be quite stable. And so that was just a clarification there. But I'm saying it for me as well. Where is my blocks of time when I can stop and do training? When I was working for Apple, we had to do a certain amount of modules on the new software that came out, and we got to play with it. And then we did it during our work hours. Who else had training that you get to do while you're on the clock at work? Anybody had training like that before? Yeah, right. And so with Optavia, where's your clock? Where are your work hours? You know, do you have them? And if you don't, consider that whatever it is, whether it's 1 hour a week or whether it's 5 hours a week, whatever it is. Where is it? When is it? And get it on your calendar so that it happens. And this is, I kind of harp on that particular piece quite a bit. That's what I just said is 95% of what you need to be successful. It's almost all of it. Is actually taking the time to take the actions, right? Anyway, I don't know if that's, I hope that you get that. And that if you don't have the time, you do. Figure it out. Maybe you got to swap something out so you can swap something in. Maybe you can't do it today, but can you do it next week? Can you do it in 2 weeks? If you can never do it, coaching won't be good for you. It's just not a good fit. But is it really a never? So, any questions about the map? Because we did a map training. So if you're senior coach in title or above, if you've ever hit senior coach, the map is a tool for you to see the future. It's to allow you to focus your energy where it will get the best return on your investment. And any questions about the map? Do you guys do a map party? How often do you stop and do your map? Any challenges about its monthly action plan? And you'll have maps that will build up to yearly action plans. Those are called the YAPs. Thanks, Carrie. I'll be here all night. Any questions about the map? I know for me, the reason why my map doesn't get done is because I don't block the time. I don't block out map time. Why don't I? I know next month is coming, right? And when I've done that in the past and plugged it into the calendar, and then I was a big boy enough not to move it or to do something else instead, but I just did it. It was good for me. And so this is all, there's nobody that gets around this. There's nobody that gets around time blocking. You'll spend things that give you the immediate boost, but they won't develop your desires, your biggest dreams, the biggest things. What's that mean to you guys? I know, and the people that already shared, if you can hold off. So, but other people, what is this? Is this feel? I hope this doesn't feel like a lecture. So that's why I'm trying to draw you guys out. What's resonating in you with the conversation we're having about being intentional and building something big?
That's something like,
Mhm.
I think it's a good reminder to look at how you use every hour or minute of your day, and then to think of what might be an excuse. So I think we can do a lot of things that seem important that might be, but they might not be necessary. Or, how bad you want your goal, or what if you're working too much and that's why you can't coach, but you want to work yourself out of then something has to give.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for me to look through and be like, yes, this is important, or yes, this is good, but is it getting in the way of great? And a lot of times it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brian Drollinger said, have your reasons become your excuses. Anybody want to take a stab at what that means?
Oh, I can. Say, oh, I want to do this for my kids. I want to get my kids into private school. So I'm going to do Optavia. But then you're like, oh, I have to go spend time with my kids, so I can't work on Optavia.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's what will happen after a while. We start using, because there's a paradox. This is a new concept that came to me this morning, and it's the paradox of hard things. Because we all try to avoid hard things, and we like easy, and then it's a lackluster satisfaction. So the paradox of the hard thing is actually every time you've done something that was hard, you had a feeling that never could be created without the thing being hard. Do you realize that? After you had a hard workout and you're nice and sweaty, you have a certain feeling. When you didn't work out, you don't get that feeling, right? So it's the paradox where you think the hard is bad, but actually the hard is the way to the good. It's actually the way to the great. And so I need to keep telling myself easy things aren't beneficial. Hard things are. Like seriously, if it's hard, it's good. And then I get to pick my hard. I get to pick where I want to be hard, so I have the payoff in the area that I want it. I never want to go have a weight workout and have it be sissy, have it be a wimpy workout. It's a waste of my time. I want it to be hard and hurt because I know I'm going to get stronger. So I think we're pain averse, though. We're always looking. Think about the video game, the movie, the animated movie called Wall-E. And they got to a point where they had automated so many things in their life, and they had taken the difficulty out of their life to the level that they were on these hovercrafts, and they just turned into blobs. They were people blobs, hovering around, and they just tried to automate everything and make everything so easy. And what if you ward against that? Ward against the easy. The obstacle is the way to the thing you want. The hard is the process. So anyway, those are just kind of the things I want to talk about. Time blocking, actually getting into the training and doing it. What would you say if I challenged you all? I'm not in there enough to even know if there's like chapters or what. But what if we all completed the first thing by next week? Minimum. I'm never talking maximums. If you want to do 2, if there even is 2, do 2 or 3. I don't even know how many there are. But what if we all this week blocked the time, did the module, and then discussed it next week? Who wants to make that kind of a commitment? And then what I mean when you say yes is right now, block it. Give yourself an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't really know how long it takes, but maybe you do an hour one day and an hour another day. So 2 hours this week is on going through one of the modules. And then let's see how that works for us. By the way, you getting to know the training system will be good for you, but it'll be good for all the people that come after you. When I read The Habits of Health, I read it for me, and it became relevant for everybody that came after me, because I can't refer to something I'm not aware of. So I do The Habits of Health for me, but then I can talk about a chapter when I'm talking about to somebody else because I read it. So that's why this system is necessary. Necessary, not optional. All right, so we've just got a few more minutes. I wanted probably take 10 minutes max, and I'm just going to allow you guys to be, let's have some community questions, comments, things that you're stuck on. This is an opportunity to quiz. Just go and quiz us. And of course, I made Diane Thompson, by the way, if you guys don't know Diane's with us tonight. Diane's a veteran coach, been around a while. Carrie's been around a while. Martin's been around a while. So I might defer the question just to one of the veteran coaches as well. But you guys have any questions that you'd like to actually, Diane, since you haven't talked yet, I'm curious because you've been you're very systems based. You get stuff done, and so I'm curious as to what the lesson you learned, and how that's led to your success.
Well, I think out of what you've been talking about, one of the things that it's all about going back to the basics. It's all about what you focus on expands, right? And Greg, the map thing, I mean, I just made a copy. I'm going to do my map. It's so easy to let it go, right? It really is. So, I mean, for me, I think in the new year, one of my biggest things is getting back to some foundations. Mm-hmm. And we always have to shore up. You and I are both athletes. I think there's some other athletes on this call, but you always have to go back to the foundations. So those mm-hmm. are the most important things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the sexy, exciting workouts. It's the basic stuff. You get up and you go and you sweat, you're done. And it helps. Yeah. That discipline that you learn by forcing yourself to do something that's good for you. There's not one time I'm lifting weights that I'm not wishing it hurt less. But when I'm done, I'm so glad it hurt bad. So glad.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to grow. So,
yes.
Yeah. So anybody else have questions or want to just talk about what's on your mind? What's in your way? I can talk about time blocking all day long, but if you don't actually block your calendar, who cares?
I would like you guys to talk about building confidence,
Mm.
and and probably it's multiple layers. You as an individual, your confidence in the system, the process, your mentors, Optavia as a whole. What say you?
Yes, I'm giving you the equation for confidence. So I just put it in the chat. You may want to write that down because it is absolutely a fact. You can take that one to the bank. It's action or practice, doing the thing, leads to competence. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And when you know you're good at something, confidence shows up on your doorstep. You don't woo it in. You don't have to search for it. It's bing, here we are. Think of an analogy. I'm thinking of dribbling a basketball, right? You should have zero confidence you can dribble a basketball the first time you dribble it. Yeah, right? Think about it. Right? But as you practice, your competency, you get your feet out of the way and you're not dribbling off your feet and you're figuring it out. You miss it and it goes a different direction, but you practice. So the action or the practice leads to a competency. Basically, you just become better with practice. And when you're good at something, confidence shows up. How many of you get in the car and are like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to work today. Could go either way. This is 50-50, right? But when you first got behind the wheel, it probably was a 50-50, right? And so you did some practice, and then your competence rose and your confidence. Now you can drive and pretty much whenever. So that is a tried and true way. So the answer to your question, Linan, is do more of it. The answer is simple. Just do more. And then you'll get more familiar with it. And as you get more familiar, your confidence will come around. And I can't think of an area in my life that's not the case. Now, the kind of practice you're doing may be bad practice. You may be learning to dribble poorly or with a bad technique. And so that's where mentorship comes in to show that your quality practice will lead to quality competence. And then, but the confidence just shows up. You're nodding, Kelly. I guess, yeah. Kelly was his PE teacher, so he taught these kind of things all over the place. And you'd go from a first grader to a sixth grader, and competence and confidence would just with practice. Yep. So what is it that you don't feel confident in? So reverse engineer that. What are you not confident in? Are you going to need to build some competence in it? And that comes through practice. Well, this learning system is exactly that. So awesome. Well, I think that's right about the top of the hour. I see, by the way, there's a few of you that I see a lot of actions, and it's awesome. Bernadette, you are killing it, by the way. I see you asking questions. I see you being the first to comment. You show up to the trainings. And this is not going to be all inclusive. I'm just saying what I see. Mandy, I see Mandy showing up. Mandy's a busy lady, and she wants to be busy at changing the world. She's cleaning the world right now, and wants to change the world. And so Mandy's showing up to the trainings. I see Pam. I see you showing up lots. I see you showing up online. I see you posting things. I see you giving people an opportunity to be inspired because you're not quiet. Rarely do quiet people inspire anybody, And so you have to do inspiring things or showcase inspiring things and showcase positivity in the world. The world needs us more than any other time that I can in my lifetime. The world needs positivity right now. People that take responsibility, people that go and show that, yeah, it's possible. And that's what all you guys are doing. So, well, that's all I got. That was pretty much it. So the goal for today is you're going to learn to block time. And the philosophy is when you put it on your calendar, you're the boss. You get to choose where it goes. Pick wisely, because when you show up as the employee, you have to do it. You don't have veto power. So choose wisely. And there'll be few exceptions, but that's why we call them exceptions. And then do one training module this week. And then for those of you that are senior coach above, let's get your map worked out and struggle with it, and then ask for help. You get stuck, ding, 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 ask for help, right? You might not be able to get all the way through it. Becca Tinter said she watched the video 4 times on how to do your map. You think she built some competence after watching the video 4 times? Probably. Martin, you had something.
I did. I did. I had to think what it was, because mine sometimes thoughts are fleeting.
Yes.
The nice thing about blocking your time is in relation to blocking time. About blocking your time is it gives you an easy answer when someone is asking you to do something. You know what? Hey, I already have something that I already have an appointment at that time. They don't know that it's an appointment with you, but sorry, I'm busy. I have an appointment that time, but I could do it this time. Mm-hmm. So it gives you an easy answer to shut them, cut them off, and not let them disrupt what you have planned.
Yeah. And then thank you, Martin. The other thing too, think about that appointment that you made is what's between you currently and the future you that you want to build. That one appointment. It's actually not that one appointment. It's the process of showing up and being accountable to yourself. Having trust with yourself that if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Because at the time, when it's time to do it, you may not feel like it. But what do your feelings have to do? Trust me, you'll have lots of wonderful time to spend with your feelings when you're learning things and when you're growing and when you're deciding who you're going to give a free car away to, or I don't know, whatever it is your thing is. You're going to buy someone dinner because you're blessed financially because you've helped so many people's lives be changed. I don't know what it is for you. But think about that appointment with your future self and just show up. And I'm saying this for me too. I just want you to know, we can all improve in this area. And when we do, people's lives will look different. So next week, one training thing and your map. And very last thing is the power hours. For those of you that have enjoyed the power hours, they still are 5 days a week. We've just changed the times. So I want to give you the new times on the power hours. So Monday night and Wednesday night, 7 p.m. only. Monday, Wednesday, evening. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, morning, 9 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is morning. Monday and Wednesday are evenings. And if you think about it, the coaches calls and coaches trainings are Monday evening. So is power hour. So it's a nice little chunk of time. Wednesdays is the coach training or the client training. You got the client call, the Habits of Health webinar, and then after that is the power hour. So they kind of have the 2 evenings on evenings when you're doing Optavia anyway. And then the other ones are mornings. And those are all Pacific times, 7 p.m., 9 a.m. Pacific. So those are still happening, and that's a great time. Last question, Martin?
Last
comment,
and it's regarding action, competence, and confidence.
Yes.
They're siblings, by the way. They are all siblings. The more actions you take, the more competent confident you become, the more competent. Wait, I got that wrong. The more confident you become, the more confident you become. Well, they're siblings. The more confident you become, they're saying, hey, action, come on, you need to do something different. You're not keeping up with this. You need to tweak something to get more, to take better action. And then he's taking better action. He's telling confidence, hey, I got some action down. You're just not lifting your load. And so all of it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as far as challenging each component to be better.
That's awesome. That's a perfect closing point. If you guys get stuck, reach out to your mentor. If you don't get stuck, reach out to your mentor. Reach out to your mentor. We love hearing from you. Right? Tell us what's going on. Share with us what's happening. And we'll see you guys next week. And Saturday, of course, is the boot camp, 7 a.m. And then Pacific. For those of you on the other coasts, you have to do the translation, but I know you're good with it. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.